Hello, my name is Lazo. I am a disabled veteran, and I served in the United States Army during Operation Iraqi Freedom. The reason why I'm talking to you today is because I have come to recognize the important role that public lands play to our military service members. Public lands are a means of reintegration for our military veterans to come back home. They allow us a chance to heal and find peace from the wounds of war. Sometimes it's hard for someone who hasn't served in combat to understand, but when you spend a deployment or multiple deployments overseas, your senses are being bombarded with bullets and roadside bombs. And when you get back home, all you want to do is find a nice quiet place to hike, fish, or just to sit and think. It's essential to those of us who have served in war to find peace. Literally, some of us cannot live without it. That's why I'm here today, standing in the New Mexico Coronado State Monument with the backdrop of the beautiful Sandia Mountains. As a military veteran, I want to talk to you about a vital conservation program that supports our public lands and parks all across America. I'm talking about the Land and Water Conservation Fund, created by Congress in 1965, which represents a bipartisan commitment to safeguard natural areas, water resources, and our cultural heritage. National parks like the Rocky Mountains, the Grand Canyon, and the Great Smoky Mountains, as well as our national wildlife refuges, national forests, rivers and lakes, community parks, trails, and ball fields in all 50 states that have been protected for all Americans to enjoy thanks to funding from the Land and Water Conservation Fund. Unfortunately, since 1965, when the Land and Water Conservation Fund was created, Congress has not kept their promise of funding the program at the authorized level of $900 million annually. This has to change. The Land and Water Conservation Fund has permanently protected over 5 million acres of public lands, including some of America's most treasured assets, such as Yosemite National Park, the Appalachian National Scenic Trail, the White Mountain National Forest, and the Pelican Island National Wildlife Refuge. The Land and Water Conservation Fund also has a strong impact on our economy. Each year, more than 87 million people enjoy hunting, fishing, and other wildlife-related recreation. They spend $45 billion annually in our local economies. Also, active outdoor recreation contributes another $646 billion to America's economy every year, which in turn supports more than 6.1 million jobs. It's clear, the Land and Water Conservation Fund is a catalyst for this growth. In addition, it's important to know that the Land and Water Conservation Fund does not cost taxpayers a single dime. The program is funded exclusively since its conception from a small fraction of oil and gas leasing royalties from offshore drilling. It receives no funding from tax revenue. None. By fully funding the Land and Water Conservation Fund, we are supporting the protection of our public lands and their infrastructure as well as our local economies. We are also continuing to safeguard these lands for America's military veterans. In order to do so, Congress must fully fund the Land and Water Conservation Fund at the authorized level of $900 million a year. Today, we need to send a message to Washington, D.C. The importance of this national program needs to continue. Stand with me and support the Land and Water Conservation Fund. Thank you.